Okay, I'm now calling to order the Sherborn Conservation Commission meeting of March 7th, 2024, starting at 7:18, a little late. And we'll have a roll call vote for presence. I'll call out your name. Michael Lesser, present. Courtney?
Courtney Eck, present.
Terry?
Terry Luskin, present.
Jacob?
Jacob Strauss, present.
Steve?
Steve Scrimshaw, present.
Kurt?
Kurt Siegel, present.
Okay, I'm not quite sure. I guess that's all of us here, because Matt said he was not going to be able to come. Okay, are there any issues that weren't anticipated 48 hours in advance that we need to add to the agenda? Hearing none, we'll just continue with the agenda as posted. Let's see now, it is 7:19 here. Let's see, in terms of announcements, I guess the COC will take a little bit of time. Is that straightforward?
What was the question? I'm sorry, what was the question?
Is your COC going to take more?
I do not think so.
Okay. Let's see, who's here for the, I guess everybody's here for the NOI, so I guess it's 7:20. I'll just do that. Okay, it's 7:20. Notice is hereby given that the Conservation Commission of the Town of Sherborn will hold a virtual public hearing using Zoom technology at 7:20 on the 7th day of March, 2024. The notice of intent hearing will be held pursuant to Chapter 131, Section 40 of the General Laws as amended, the Wetlands Protection Act, and the Sherborn Wetlands Bylaw, to consider a proposal by the applicant and the representative for an addition on piers within a wetland buffer zone at 191 Maple Street, map 2, lot, looks like a 0111. This application is available for viewing at the Sherborn Conservation Office. All persons desiring to be heard will be given an opportunity to speak at this hearing. We got all the cards and everything else and that kind of stuff?
We did. I see the owner here, but I do not see any of the representatives.
Okay, so
I just talked to Kathy. She was not able to get into the Zoom meeting. But
let me see.
she's she just
I don't see her waiting here. Let's see.
but I'm here if I can answer any questions. Sorry. This is Ashish.
Yeah, hi Ashish. I guess we do need her, I think.
Right.
Some of the issues.
Zoom link on the town website worked fine.
Yes, it did work fine. Yes, I was working from something else. Let's see. How do we send her? So is she looking on the town website?
I'm hoping I just sent her the Zoom link again because I was able to join.
Oh, okay.
Well, we could start the COC if you like and just postpone this until she joins us.
You don't mind, Ashish? We'll just start something.
I do not mind. Thank you so much for considering. I appreciate it.
No problem. Okay. Hearing's open, but we'll stick this little thing in here.
So Dan is on. So Dan, this is a COC that you had submitted a few years ago, and then we asked for some additional growing time. Is that correct?
There was some, I think there was some erosion by the edge of the retaining wall.
Yep.
And the homeowner decided just to extend that wall a little bit, quite a little bit actually, but think it's in good shape now.
Yes, everything looks good. I didn't have any issues with it. It was much improved over the last time I looked at it. And I recommend that we issue a certificate of compliance.
Okay. There was some pictures in the file for anybody. Does anybody have any questions?
I do. I'm
Oh,
just
okay.
curious, how far back, we're in a butter to the rear of the property, and I don't understand, or know much about the project and how far back it may come to our lot line with, any excavation, with pertaining to any wetlands that may abut us on the Western Ave field.
So this was a project that was permitted, in 2019, Dan? 2018 or 2019, and they've completed the project. They actually completed it in 2020. It was a replacement
Oh,
of
okay.
it
I
was
misunderstood.
yeah, it was the replacement of a septic system, and we asked them to allow more time for stabilization, and they did. And now they've come back to us. So everything is completed. There's no proposed
Okay.
work out here.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I misunderstood.
That answer all your concerns at the moment?
Yeah,
Okay.
Thank
Sure, no, by all means. Are there any other questions or concerns? In which case, I move to grant the certificate of completion of the COC for 147 Hunting Lane.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Roll call vote. Michael, I. Jacob,
Aye.
Terry,
Aye.
Kurt,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Courtney.
Hi.
Okay, so that's done. And now I see that Karen is here. You can continue with the hearing. Do you want to present? Do you want, I could show the screen, you could show the screen.
Well, I had some trouble getting on, so I'm back on my Chromebook, so I can't show my screen on this.
You could
If you could
actually,
show that, if you could share, that'd be awesome.
okay, fine. You can tell me which things you want, but I want to share something here. Did you want to start with this? Let's see here. People see a plan and a photo side by side.
Yeah,
Okay, what did you, is this what, let's see, that's another picture. What do you want to start with?
probably a plan if you could
Zoom in.
zoom in on the plan. So I delineated the site 11/4/23. The site is the property is located at 191 Maple Street in Sherborn. The site currently consists of a 7.5 acre lot. The applicant is proposing a 14.5 by 24.5 addition to the rear of the existing single family house. It's kind of tucked in the corner there in red, on the right-hand rear of the existing house. The addition is posed on piers. There'll be 10 piers that will be dug by hand. They're saying dug by hand, but I think there's a hand pulled machine that drills down into the soil to place the piers. Any soil that's removed and any soil that comes up in the drill, which shouldn't be very much, will be removed from the site. So the work is fairly close to the wetland, but it's kind of it's no closer than the existing house, and kind of tucked in the corner behind the rear of the property. We're showing erosion control around the area, so that right-hand side will be used as an access. The driveway will be used for an access, and then straight into the area that is that shows the erosion control. There's no trees needed to be removed in association with this project. And we're showing 3 wetland boundary markers in that area of the addition. There's a shed in the rear of the property, you can see, within the wetland area. That's going to be removed outside the 50-foot buffer.
That's nice.
Yeah, and so I believe it's on cinder blocks, and there is vegetation underneath it. So we were thinking to let the natural vegetation come back, and if it doesn't come back, we'll plant.
Anything else that you want to say?
So we do have a DEP file number that took us quite a while to get, 238-0449, and the abutters have been notified. And if
Okay.
anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Do you want to start, Joyce, or anyone?
Well, I guess one of the first questions is, while the addition is going in previously disturbed area, the gravel that's all out there that's been placed beside the house, right up to the top of bank where the wetland drops down to the wetlands, is been installed fairly recently, within the last couple of years. And what are your thoughts on like removing it and planting it? Or, I mean, that's an awful lot of unnatural surface right next to, within the 50 next to the wetland. That's the first
So
question.
I believe the owner is on the call, so maybe we could ask him if he's willing to do that.
All right, and then the second, let me just give a couple of questions. So that's
Okay,
one.
I'm
The
sorry.
other one is, what were you thinking of doing with the impervious surface from the roof of the addition? So right now, all the gutters and the sump pump from the basement are exit right past the top of bank, right directly into the wetland. And with all the significant rainfall we've had, they're kind of scouring their way down. That can't be done, with the roof infiltration. I mean, those are direct discharges right into the wetland. What are your thoughts on what you would do with the roof runoff from these things that are going right into the wetlands? How would you change that? What would you do with a new roof?
So I believe I discussed drip edge with the engineer. He didn't seem to want to put an infiltration system in because it was such a small area, but maybe put a drip edge or a trench to catch the runoff from the roof.
So right now the groundwater is real high. So I can see why you wouldn't want to put in an infiltration system. What about a rain garden?
A rain garden. We could do a rain garden. But as I said, the owner is on the call, so maybe he would like to weigh in on that.
I was going to say, before you go, Ashish, whether do people want to see, have people looked at the photographs, or should I just run through it quickly so you have a better visual of what we're talking about?
Yeah, running through them with a description of sort of what's
So
changing.
this
Would-
is
would
standing
make
in the front. Yeah, this is standing
This
in
is
the front
looking-
yard. Yeah, right off the edge of the driveway, looking towards the back of the lot. And I just wanted to just capture where the gravel was running. It's running from the front corner of the house to the top of the bank.
And this
And
is
then
all
if
gravel.
you
Yeah.
scroll to the next one. Yeah, I was just getting closer to the edge of the bank just to see what it looked like.
Just see
Predominantly,
around
the
this
area-
corner is where okay,
Yeah.
go on.
The area is predominantly stabilized in front of it with moss. There's no real lawn between the gravel and the driveway. It's pretty much moss. It's pretty much moss. There's a little bit of moss as you go past the gravel at the back end of the house. If you go to the next slide. This is where the outlet to the roof drains are going. That's kind of where they're scouring their way down. The roof runoff comes out, but then it gets a little bit stronger as when the sump pump goes off. They both go into the same pipe. They're wide into the same pipe at the house. And if you go to the next,
See that here?
yeah. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's the discharge system right there. And that's the gravel that runs, you know, kind of stabilizing the whole backyard. That wood piece that looks, I thought it was a game. It's really, I think it looks like it's a wooden kind of, some kind of structural beam of some sort, just resting there. If you go to the next slide.
Yeah, so when you,
That's just a piece of wood sitting there.
Yeah, that's, that
oh,
is,
that's not
right
an
there.
issue for us
Yeah,
there.
it's not an issue.
Yeah, this is where the first drain, it combines the sump pump and the
the roof drain.
stormwater from the roof, both here to that first drain. And then there's another drain that seems to go from here down here that we saw in the background of the
So I can't
previous
tell
picture.
about that second one. I don't know. I can't tell if that's going overland. If you look at, if you scroll down again. All right, that's just a wider view so you can see from the side,
That's what two
you know,
drains
what it
are.
looks like. And that's just covering the outlet pipe. There's just a bunch of boards covering the outlet pipe. And then there's just scoured as you go down into the wetland. And there is there's a patio and a cabana that that are in front of where the addition's going.
Yeah, the addition's coming in here.
Yeah.
This is-
Yeah, just till the, if you see the small piece in the middle of the gravel, yeah, still here. That's it. That's it. Till where your mouse is exactly. Just a 14 by 24 feet of
Yep.
bedroom extension that my wife wants to kill me for. That's it. Sorry.
Okay, blame it on the partner. Oh. Yeah,
All right,
So just to add answer to the question, I'm happy to I bought this house 2 years ago, and this has been there as is. If you want me to remove the gravel and this place, happy to do that and let it grow the way it is. No questions to that. The outlet piece has been there, and whatever drip system is required for the roof, I'm happy to install that as well.
these are just other.
Yeah, that's exactly, I think that's a
Yeah,
good
this
view.
is- right.
Exactly here. Yes, that's it. That's
Squaring it
that's
off.
correct.
Because
We didn't have a site visit for this, did we?
we did not.
I guess this is the shed that's going to be moved.
Yeah, this has been there since I bought it. I did not put it myself, but
Mhm.
I'm happy to get a crane and get it moved to the 50 feet and far. Fine. It's a big lot. I'll just find a space on the other side.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Okay, well, we're gonna. So I don't know if there's any photo that people wanna. I guess. This is where they're building, and I guess the question of. I guess this is. There's the two drains. I guess this is the area that's. Oh, sorry, guys.
Yeah, this picture is better. This one, the one where you have a plank sitting,
Yeah.
that will give a view of where
Well, so
exactly this way.
It would
Yes,
end,
that
it would
one.
end
Exactly.
here, and then we're talking about this whole area here as well as the drainage from.
Yeah, it's just gravel and stone so that the water doesn't clog and live. So I think it's just because of the water and the rain and the way it is. I think because of they're stones actually. The one in the back, behind, next to the house, not this one, the one above. Yes, that's all small stones.
Right.
It's not stones, big pieces, so that the water just runs away. And this part is a gravel. If you want me to remove, I can ask a landscape guy to come and take it off or do whatever is recommended by the committee.
Mhm. Okay, so now going back to so Joyce, did you have other things besides how we deal with
Those
the
were the two,
runoff?
no, those are my two main issues. Question.
Yeah. Right. I would yeah, before I come back to myself, do other people want to ask any questions before we?
All right, we talked. There's a mention of putting a rain garden somewhere. Would that have to go sort of somewhere where that's currently gravel and direct the outflow from the sump pump and the roof into that, and then outflow from there?
So
Something, or how would that work? What would?
the issue is that there's a velocity associated with the sump pump, and that can't be just discharged into a roof drain. I mean, into a rain garden.
Okay.
There has to be something done to dissipate the velocity before it gets there. And that would be, Karen mentioned there was an engineer working with the project. That would be something that they would have to, look into designing.
And then come back to us.
And then come back, yeah.
Other commissioners want to comment before I do? Or questions? I'll jump in. Right. Normally we wouldn't have, somebody would have to come and get permitted because this is all inner buffer zone to the wetlands, that none of this gravel would be permitted. And so it would be useful, plus the direct discharge of the sump pump and the roof drains wouldn't go directly into the wetlands as such. So that, I guess, as Joyce is suggesting, that it would be useful to get rid of all this gravel, or maybe you need a little bit of gravel or along the house, as much gravel as possible that could be removed here. Would be a strong preference because it's the inner buffer zone to the wetland. And whether as part of any re-landscaping of this area, which we could talk about, you don't have to do it here, but you could talk with Joyce about ideas for what to put in there. So we don't have to do it right now. That as much of this, and incorporated somewhere in here, could be some sort of rain garden kind of setup with maybe some sort of velocity reduction for, let's say, sump pump stuff. That would basically capture it, and then to the extent that it overflows, it would sort of spread it out in terms of how it would flow out from it. Sort of is my sense that, in that the drains from any of the roofs that would be somehow going into this rain garden, which could be, that's up to what you can design something. We could talk with Joyce if you want, on the size of it, so that the two direct discharges are removed and just incorporated into draining into the rain garden, which could also take some of the runoff from the new project. So that's my sense of what the next step would be, is to come up with a sort of a planting plan for this, combined with how you would deal with the roof runoff, and to move forward, I guess, with the project. I mean, I'm essentially, even though this is, I guess, altered area that was possibly done without permission, but given where the house is now, I guess I could see permitting this thing with redoing this area here as sort of mitigation, and dealing with the drainage, and also having the shed moved to help.
Mhm.
That's my sense of where I see this thing going. What do other people think?
I think it would come out overall, if you take into account rerouting all that flow from the sump and the roof, slowing it down and infiltrating it better so it's not scouring right into the wetland, and undoing some of this gravel in the shed. That even with the small addition, that it's going to come out in favor of the wetlands.
Same thoughts at my end. This is a net improvement.
Others, because we're gonna give instructions to them to, and I guess we'll probably just put it on our next meeting if they can prepare plans. What other suggestions would you have besides what we're just talking about here in terms of other? I mean, we're talking about redoing this whole area here. I mean, the monuments could be
That makes
incorporated
sense.
into
That makes sense to
landscaping.
me. I was curious more around the very edge. Does the lawn go right up to the edge of the wetland markers sort of in the on the bottom left of that picture. I wonder if there should be something to slow down, just run out to establish a little bit more of a border between the lawn and the wetland itself.
You mean over here in the far area?
The foreground, the very bottom of the photo on the
Yeah.
left side.
Oh, you mean whether there's with this existing grass here?
Yeah.
Well,
Just
it looks like it slopes down, but there's not really a slope if you look at
it's
that
flat there.
from the other angle.
If you look at the picture with the shed, for instance,
Oh, yeah, let's see.
because like according to the plan, the shed is, you know, on the other side of the wetland line.
Mhm.
I see. So it slopes down after that.
Where's the other picture?
There's one picture back there.
It was a different one.
I guess it would be nice also as part of the,
What I'm getting at, Michael.
you know, which one? Let's see. There's 11 photos, so I can't remember which order. Uh-oh, I'm running out of photos. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. So since that looks like if the shed is truly within the wetlands, it would be nice if they could stop mowing and maintaining at the edge of the
Right.
wetlands. And we could put another, I see there's like a marker, you know, at the edge of the erosion controls, but if we could put one marker up where the shed is, you know,
Yeah.
the boundary of the wetland, that would really go a long way, I think.
Yeah. I guess it would be nice to, how much of the area here could be stopped being managed because it is right next to the wetlands and we need a buffer zone.
Right. And I understand the current owner didn't put a shed in the wetland, but somebody put a shed in wetland and it doesn't belong there. So it would be great if we could, he's already agreed to take it out, which is fantastic. If we could just leave that wetland unmanaged, that would be.
Yep. I think just sorry to
No, by all
jump in.
means.
I don't think that area is managed at all. It's
Yeah, but this looks like it's mown. I think we're talking about.
oh
this area
oh
here.
you're saying
The
not
wetlands
even
right here.
not,
The wetlands
Yeah, you're saying-
line seems to
right.
go right through here.
Okay, so you're saying don't mow the area. Is that? I'm
And-
sorry, I'm not technical enough, so just trying to.
Oh, yeah,
learn
right,
more.
exactly. I mean, you could, it would be nice to be left this to go back some
Got
sort
it.
of natural and to the extent possible, since those are wetlands and the filtering effect of the buffer zone here, it'd be nice to
Okay.
extend how much you're willing on when you talk with redoing the plan on some of this, whether some area here, how far you're willing to come out here. The more you come out here would be nice because then you have a buffer to this wetland that's protective. I mean, you can,
No
and it could
problem.
be landscaped in certain ways too, if you don't want to just let it go purely natural, but so you could actually put some things in here, but that you would maybe have the monument somewhere out here to give a buffer zone to the wetlands. So that's something to also consider in the next plan. Are there any other bigger overall things besides what's basically redoing sort of the getting rid of the gravel here up to as much of this as possible and putting in some sort of rain garden detention area for drainage as well as fixing up this area or protecting it? And
Ask
then
one
the
quick
other-
question.
Sure.
Sorry. When you say rain guard, all the water will go in that rain guard, but where does the water go after that?
I guess we're hoping some will infiltrate, but the high groundwater is probably going to make that limited. I think what will the rain garden would have on the wetland side would have some sort of spreader or some sort of some way in which
Overflow.
overflows are spread out so it's not channelized, as it's called. Like what you have is channelized flow, and you want it to be more spread out so that you don't get erosion and things like that. Does that make sense? Maybe not.
Oh, makes sense. Thank you so much. Sorry, I wasn't here.
It's all right. I see Karen nodding, so she can certainly help you with that. Are there any other general things that right.
So Karen,
Mhm.
when you do when you come back with some to address the roof runoff, this plan is at a scale that's quite small. That might be very difficult to show all that detail at this level.
Yeah,
So
he
you-
generally puts a blow up on it. I don't know why he didn't, but I'll
Okay.
have him do that.
Okay, great.
Okay, are there any other instructions you want to leave them with? And Joyce will be interacting with them along and before the next thing. Do you think the next meeting is going to be time for you?
Yeah. When do you want the plans for the next meeting, Joyce?
It's the 21st.
But we'd want the plans, we tend to want them like by the end.
Oh,
the week
yeah,
or
I
so.
mean,
I mean, it
it
depends,
would be very helpful to have them a week in advance, but
Okay.
see what you can do.
Okay.
right,
Um,
since we've sort of. Okay, so next meeting would be good for you
Yep.
on the 21st? And I assume Ashish as well. Okay,
Yes, thank you so much.
All right, so this would be continued until 8:15 on the 21st.
Okay. Great. Thank you so much.
Any other commission comments before I move to continue it? Okay,
Anyone from the public?
oh, yes,
I don't think anyone else is here, so it was just,
so, good to remember. I always forget, I know there was somebody there, but now I realize there isn't. Okay, I move to continue the hearing on 191 Maple Street, notice of intent until 8:15 on March 21st, 2024.
second.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Michael, I, Courtney,
Aye.
Terry,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Kurt,
Aye.
Jacob.
Aye.
Okay, we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Yep, have some fun with it. Okay,
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
sure. You know where to reach Joyce in between.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
Okay, did the COC. Want to see what essentials we need to do tonight, because I would like to go to caucus. It's starting in a while. I mean, you guys can continue the meeting unless I'm getting Courtney to go. I guess you still might have a quorum. But yeah, is the Eversource notification an important thing or what?
No, it's a notice of their regular notice of utility maintenance for power lines.
And what they're doing?
And it's not really specific. I think I put it in the
I guess I'll have to go look at it.
yeah,
You
it's
guys have- I stopped sharing or no? I didn't.
there's a wood structure that they're going to replace within 10 feet of the existing structure. And I'm trying to see.
Is there any regulatory issues for us that we have any jurisdiction?
No,
Okay. Yeah. I
I mean,
guess,
I'll take a look at it, but
okay,
when they started, but they're going to begin on the 25th approximately.
all right. Wow, 3 months. But I guess it's mainly a matter of just, I assume they have some best practices of erosion control that they have to follow.
They do.
So, okay, so it's just that I guess you'll deal with as the site. They don't seem to mention any of that. Oh, there is a diagram. Do they have? I don't see any erosion control marked. But I guess you'll make sure that,
No, I'll go out and take a look when they get started, but it's accessible, so
oh yeah, no, I just can't tell whether send them an email ahead of time just to say that,
yeah, I can do that.
what kind
It's
of
kind of in
erosion.
the middle. I'm not sure how, it's
Oh,
in
you
the
mean it's
buffer
fairly
zone, but-
level?
Yeah,
Okay, I don't even know where the wetland is, but, okay. I'll leave it to your judgment there. Okay, you did the request for compliance, no announcements, there's no new news on the budget. The big advisory public hearing will be held in a week from, on the 16th. People want to attend to see our budget as well as everything else in town, the entire warrant of all sorts of moves. There's lots of things that could also make a difference. There's a Community Action CPA, Community Preservation Act, possible surcharge, which has some issues for open space funding possibilities that people might want to get informed about, because that's going to be an interesting vote. And it has some impact on issues that are related to the Conservation Commission. I don't see a warrant. We don't have any meetings. Are there any site issues?
No.
Okay, the administrative approval is for 10 Coolidge Street, a pool and
That was that's entirely within the 50-foot, inner 50-foot. So I talked to the homeowner and they are going to submit a notice of intent.
okay.
It's an existing disturbed area.
And the tree removal, 21
Yes.
Russell Hill.
Yeah, that's a project that we have previously looked at, and that was trees that had come down. So those two were granted tree removal.
And 14 Woodland Street, okay.
I owe you guys a couple of AAs. That's on tomorrow's agenda.
Okay. And next time, okay, so we just have one there that was denied. Okay, then the last item, we will have, the next item is the farm roads, homes, possible conditions for the 40B. And I'm going to summarize where I think we are. I'm going to, hold on, let's see here. Just share my screen with a couple of files. Hopefully you see two files side by side. Okay. Now, last time, is my understanding, we had our initial comments that were done back, I think, in October. And we were told that some of that included asking for a study, which we were told that by the ZBA when I was there and asked about it, that kind of thing is what they normally condition, like what we do. Where we might say do a planting plan and study during the project and then come back for approval. That kind of two-step process doesn't seem to be something that the ZBA conditioning is willing to include. But we basically came back to that, since we're not getting a peer review of this or any comments, that we have to just give specific conditions that we would like to see put in the ZBA document if they go forth with the project, if they approve the project with conditions. On the right side is sort of that original document where I started cleaning up. I got some edits, Kurt, on some of the stuff here, and I was trying to redo it because we were a little bit off about the kind of resource areas that were there, since there's really 2 or 3 resource areas that overlap. But in the end, and there's all the stormwater issues that we started doing that I was putting into a separate thing because I thought I was going to send it in separately and before now, but I haven't had any time due to sort of work commitments. But in essence here, I guess, the main things that we have, besides a lot of stormwater issues, which have to get enumerated. We did enumerate them before, we have to probably repeat it. And we'll see also at the next meeting, and maybe the final one might be on the 20th of February. where they're supposed to get the peer review on all the stormwater, and there's lots of questioning about some of the parameters in this. Lots of people are putting comments about the stormwater and some of the septic analysis. That we'll see if they get it addressed on the 20th, or that and how they negotiate any further extensions. But for us, besides all the stormwater stuff, which we'll come to, it's mainly this buffer zone planting plan that we've identified is the issue of the septic system impacts and some monitoring. And then we have some other buffer zone conditions, like on pesticides and witch rot and coal tar and stuff. And then we have some other project conditions. These ones here are the same things we had from before that we, I think, went over last time. What we got to is the only thing that, the main thing for this thing was the planting plan specifics, of which some stuff was started by Courtney. I don't know if there's anything more, but what I'm going to propose tonight is that we focus a little on this planting plan issue, and that we're going to vote to approve this, with that it'll get finalized, because the meeting is before our next meeting. That to some extent the points will be approved, but that the final write-up is approved to be done by myself and one or two others. That'll come out of tonight's meeting. And that, I mean, I think people have seen this document for a while. This is where it has some of the, there's some edits and whatever. This is some of the other conditions that we've talked about before. We went over this septic system issue here. I have to separate the fact that we wanted some testing that we could do. And then we have to just sort of say that there's the overlap with the DEP stormwater standards. We'll see how far they get with that. And then there's some additional ones. These are all things that we've had from before that we approved earlier in the fill stuff.
Hey, Michael,
Yeah.
can I ask a question in the septic system area, because I haven't seen all the iterations of this, but there were sort of either or options when I was looking at the document. The second option, which is, you know, the Conservation Commission has our permission to go in and do testing. It seemed to me that it wasn't as specific in that section option about how frequently and at whose expense. That secondary, you know,
Oh, yeah, I didn't think, well, I guess it wasn't specified, because then once we have the ability to do the testing.
right,
can
seemed to
specify
be
itself.
worthy of saying, you know, every 2 years or 3 years, you know,
But we
whatever.
can do it, I
in,
mean, I guess I was leaving it open so that we could decide when and the frequency. That it we could do whatever we want to do.
Okay.
And
How
the-
about at,
and
is
it'll
it
be
at
our
the
cost.
homeowners association cost or?
I think it'll be at our cost, because if they're not doing this, once
Mhm,
you're doing it at the homeowner cost, then you have to be very specific. That's what
Mhm.
this one has, much more specificity.
mhm.
Whereas this one I left general, because it's going to be at our cost. We can put it in that it'll be, should be the project owners to the extent possible. We could add something about at the emissions cost.
Seems to me that it's with, it's in their own enlightened self-interest to choose the second one. Because ongoing, it's not a homeowner association cost.
Oh, yeah,
Seems
no,
to me that-
it's only if the, right, I mean, it's only if the CBA is willing to do this, which I doubt, but that I feel we might as well at least push for it.
Okay,
But I have a feeling that they're not going to do this kind of thing. That's why just have this fallback here that's just in our hands and our cost.
thanks for expanding on all this so I can get a better picture of how this has worked and would work going forward. Thanks.
What's that?
No, just thanks for kind
Oh,
of explaining the big picture.
So Michael, does the ZBA take our recommendations word for word, or do they take what we've written and do they, make their own changes if they see fit?
well, we're trying to make this wording, but something that they could just pop in,
But they can
they-
make their own changes.
or they can just play with it.
So for the second option, for instance, why would we want to put in at the commission's cost? Why wouldn't we want to leave it out and let the ZBA either add that? Do we think we have a better chance of getting that added if we make it explicit it's at our cost?
Yeah.
Okay.
To be honest, because if it's not at our cost, it's gonna be at their cost. And then we have to specify it, so it really comes
Yeah.
back to the first one.
Okay.
That's my logic. And so, I mean, it's a little bit more important now that some of the analyses by some commenters on the, that have been submitted, when you read comments like this guy, Scott Horsley, has written comments that talk about fairly high nitrogen loading, possibly getting down to the wetlands there, which would be beyond, on one hand, the wetlands are set up, as we did with the previous project, the fields. The wetlands do some denitrification, but at some point, their capacity to do that is exceeded. And so you can have adverse impacts on the wetlands if the nitrogen loading is beyond a certain sustainable capacity of the wetlands, which is what we feared in the other project. And we have to pursue. We actually did baseline testing there, and it's time now to go do some additional testing, trying to get Wellesley students to do it. They did the baseline. So therefore,
Don't get to talk about the fields right now, though.
fine.
I-
So let's go to this, and I don't know how far we're gonna get tonight, or whether we just get the
Well-
parameters, because where, did you do anything with this?
My head, the thing that I wanted to add to the mitigation plan was mowing. And I needed to rip that text from some other thing that we've done in terms of mow the meadow annually when the ground is not wet or something.
Well, did we want to, remember on some other things recently, we had it mowed, I guess, as much, Ted was actually suggesting that we mow it every other year, maybe. And the barber, is that something we want to consider here, or just,
I thought that was for specific reasons, because of specific things were growing there, which I doubt is true here.
okay. Mowed annually after, at a certain time, that we'll have to specify, after the bird thing or something.
Yeah, I think how we phrased it in one of the other things was mowed like no more than annually.
Right,
So they could do it every other year if they wanted, but
okay. Now,
And we wanted to specify when it was, such that it's essentially in the fall after
yeah, we'll figure out what the wording is there.
Right.
everything's frozen. Whatever that.
Um,
Probably can't say that.
when it's dry and frozen is what we want. I don't know how we word it.
Well, okay, but tonight, I don't think we're not gonna wordsmith, since I wanna do
Yeah.
it, but as long as we could approve all the general principles here, and we can vote to authorize a few of us to clean it up and send in, is all I hope to do. Now, have you, as, I guess Courtney, Terry, and Kurt we're gonna do some work with this. Has anybody seen it on the left?
Ready?
Okay, so
Yeah.
nobody has seen the stuff on the left, except for me. Okay, because on the other side here, we had things here about stormwater detention areas tried to be as rain gardens, so they have oil values. We could stick that in there. Then there was other altered areas. We had to specify this kind of stuff in the management plan, and factor in these kind of things.
I put that.
And I guess some of that's in here somewhere. 4-inch containers used. So where's the density stuff is here. This is the nitty gritty.
Well, no, it's also in the first paragraph as well.
Every square foot, oh, okay. For every square foot, 1 square foot of mitigation plantings must be added. Oh, how's that gonna happen?
Like, you need to read it.
Oh,
What is the unit conversion unit from a square foot of mitigation planting to a shrub or a tree or a whatever?
Well, it's just, I put in there based on what size container. So like if they're using a 4-inch,
It would,
something like a 4-inch container, I don't really care as much how they mix and match that.
okay, so it's more like this much area on the plan must be converted to we will plant things here, kind of.
Yeah, and I tried to phrase it so in the next paragraph, I don't want them to go and plant the meadow area, and go into areas that are not going to be just really is disturbed, but like clearly along that edge of the road, there's going to be grading because the road's going to need to be higher up. So I wanted them to put any mitigation plantings there, basically between the roads and the impervious surfaces and like behind the houses, kind of as a more thickly vegetated buffer between the meadow and the wetland and the pond.
are people remembering
I
it?
hope I kind of phrased it that way.
Okay, well, we'll make sure. Do I need to pull up the plan or people have it in their head a little enough?
Yeah, but I remember enough of it.
My question here that I'll come back to is impervious area, 1 square feet of mitigation plantings. I guess I'm still not sure where they're gonna be because any buffer zone that they disturb, they have to fix up anyway.
Well,
And
they have to fix it. They have to fix it up, but some of it it's being restored. In which case they were using, I think they had specified like seed mixes and stuff.
right. But where are we gonna put the extra area? Let's say part of the road, let's say the road impervious area. Let's say there's 300 square feet or 500 square feet of road in the buffer zone.
It's probably
Now,
more mature. Yeah.
right, whatever it is, where is that other 500 square feet gonna be?
Well, so that's where we're talking about doing plantings. This is similar to what we've done in other projects where there isn't additional, because we're working with buffer zone that's not altered right now, and it's going to get altered. And so in those other projects that we've done, we've had them do extensive plantings to kind of make up for the area that's getting taken up. So like,
Okay, I see where you're going, but we could do that without even having this per square for impervious area. Any of the altered buffer zone, we could tell them we want it planted X, Y, and Z without even referencing the impervious area. Because they'd have to fix up the buffer zone anyway.
But I thought but I kind of assumed that a bunch of those areas would be lawn, or like per their plan, they would just be lawn alongside the road or lawn alongside the houses or whatever, which is not what we want.
Right, I should, guess I should pull up the plan.
So this looks reasonable. I just don't know whether the space exists, nor do I know how we would figure that out. So maybe we just
So-
leave it as is and see if they complain.
well, exactly. I was like, because we aren't going to get like a detailed landscaping plan, I wanted to write it in such a way that there was something measurable for every, tree they cut down. They're supposed to do X, Y, and Z for every, square foot of impervious area. It basically had to be like enhanced buffer zone with lots of plantings. And so I I wrote it so that the primary area that I want them to do would be between, you know, those roads and the houses and stuff. So it'd be like a thickly planted area between that and our resources areas, which is, you know, the wetlands and the pond. But if that didn't have enough square footage, I said they could go on the other side of the road, and fill up that buffer zone as well. It's kind of like a secondary option. And also because that's technically buffer zone to our isolated land subject to flooding. Yeah, so like behind those purple and greenhouses over there, that's all technically, as Michael pointed out, buffer zone to the isolated land subject to flooding under our bylaw. So primarily we want them to put the plantings, you know.
I mean, all the stuff in here is right. We're gonna
Right.
specify a lot of detail, specify a certain thing here. The question is right. Asking to put, the question is the rationale of doing it some plantings over here. How does that enhance the wetlands? When it's separated or even here. I don't want
It's
to.
still it's not as effective, but it is still an area that will help delay and slow down runoff from the roads and the sidewalks. So it's not nothing. It's not our first choice, but it's not nothing.
Okay.
So I think the overall approach is reasonable. I wouldn't be surprised if we get pushback on it, but that's okay.
Well, I mean, it's sort of the general gist of what we were talking about at the last meeting when Bob was here. So I don't know if like maybe somebody else wants to take a crack at the next round of it. But
Okay. So
And
we
then
have is everybody okay with this structure? Because we're gonna have a vote to say that this is generally fine, this principle, and it could be cleaned up by somebody like me, Courtney, and a third person.
and a lot of this language was ripped straight from the tree policy, so I'm sure Jacob recognizes it.
Yeah.
Because I think we're basically gonna combine these two documents here. And
I have one question as to whether the delineation of the high water mark is really what that means exactly, and if that is accurate.
this is not accurate. They have redone it. That this isolated wetland might be right, but there's the wetland line for the isolated land subject to flooding extends further out now. So there was a new plan. I just don't have that one up.
So it's bigger, it's a little bit bigger than that solid line?
Yeah, I think it goes out towards here.
It goes from looking at the high water mark in Google Earth in 2005. It's easy to look at Google Earth. I just pulled it up right now. It looks like it goes closer to the road closer to Farm Road where the.
It does go by, yeah. Whatever it is, we're trying to write something that we don't have all the square footages and we're not getting it in this.
Okay.
We could see when they come to us for with a notice of intent, we can see if we could do much, but we have some limitations because there's no buffer zone under the state. But we'll see where the isolated land subject to flooding actually comes out to, and that we have to make sure that they do some things with that in terms of its capacity and its other interests. But we're trying to write it generically, sort of like per square foot kind of thing, so that things can be calculated and then we can hold them to it.
Okay, it just may be closer to that entry road and Farm Road.
Clearly is. We'll see that, and hopefully the stormwater review is also taking into account that capacity. That's something we have to do. Are there any other points that we should be adding, other than we can clean this up and a subgroup will submit it?
Works for me.
Who else wants to, so we don't have a quorum. Who else wants to be part of that review?
Like, I don't, if Terry wants to look at it, cause she's.
I
vast-
would happily look at it. The problem is doing anything much next week face to face because I'm actually in Hingham. So I'm
We don't
not.
have to, we don't have to be, I mean, other than Zoom.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Super. Yeah, I don't mind. I just feel like it would be really helpful for me to work on it and understand that
Okay.
this is the shape
Love
that
I
has
don't.
emerged.
Okay, who else
not-
besides me and Terry then?
Courtney, I didn't exactly hear what you said. I'm sorry.
I said, I don't mind if it's Terry, Jacob, and Michael who want to take the next crack at it. That's fine with me. I trust you guys. Whatever you guys want.
What a vote of confidence. You and Tom Sawyer. Anybody else? Okay. Okey doke, we'll figure out something. I move, hi Carol. I move that we approve these rough drafts for our proposed conditions to the ZBA to be cleaned up, as cleaned up and edited by Michael, Terry, and a third person, if available.
Seconded.
Any further discussion? Roll call vote. Michael, aye. Terry,
Hi.
Steve,
Aye.
Jacob,
Aye. Aye.
Kurt, okay,
Hi.
and Courtney.
Aye.
Okay, we've done this. I am now going to, we're now going to open up the regulatory thing, but I want to go to caucus, and I don't know if you people have, and and other people want to go, whether there's still a quorum left, because otherwise I will just open the hearing on the regs and move it to next meeting.
Let's move it. They already voted. They already had a caucus nominee for moderator. You better hurry up if you want to get there.
Okay. Okay. Reopening the hearing on the regulations. And I am continuing that hearing to March 21st at
8:30.
8:30.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Roll call vote. Michael, aye. Terry,
Hi.
Steve,
Aye.
Kurt,
Hi.
Jacob,
Aye.
Courtney.
Aye.
Okay, Carol, you joined just in time to see us close the meeting so we can go to caucus. Uh,
Well, it's either that or you could always listen to the State of the Union address.
That
oh,
will be
I'm doing
me.
that. Yes, that's of interest too, although sometimes I find it painful, but okay. Okay, are there any other issues, Joyce? Or anything else we
Nope.
need to cover?
Nope.
Okay, I move to adjourn at 8:21.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Michael, aye. Courtney,
Aye.
Terry,
Hi.
Kurt,
Hi.
Jacob,
Aye.
Steve.
Aye.
Okay, and let's stop the recording.